You're listening to The Critical Thought, where we challenge our listeners to use critical thinking when examining the teachings of Jehovah's Witnesses.
Hi, I'm Lady C, aka Kathy Thomas. I have a question for you. Who gave the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society their powers of authority? See, for anyone who's been around the Jehovah's Witnesses, studied the Bible, became a witness, you're an ex-witness or whatever, you're very well aware of the Watchtower's claim to being the only true religion. They set themselves up and they said that if you want to live forever, either in heaven or on earth, that you have to come through this organization. Okay? Now, everyone's familiar with the history of the organization. They're familiar with, Charles Taze Russell being the founding father of the Watchtower and how it changed hands throughout the years to different individuals that were the president, of the organization. And then finally, they had broken into committees and all that kind of stuff, right? To be the large corporation that they are today. Now, everyone is familiar with the fact that when Charles Taze Russell started out, they used to be called the Bible students. But for those of you who don't really know your history of Jehovah's Witnesses, you will do yourself a great favor to go on the internet and start looking at the history and the foundation of this religion. It just do yourself a favor and go find out why all these changes occurred. But anyway, my thing is, how can an organization such as the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society just come out of nowhere and, go to New York City and erect all these buildings and put a sign out there saying Watchtower, and then self-appoint themselves as being the only organization where you can be given God's approval to live forever, either in heaven or on earth? Not only that, but they bring all these people together and they create this urgency, right? Again, there are many people that have lived and died, and they literally did not see any realization of an end coming in their lifetime, right? So they didn't even enjoy their life because all their entire life was built around the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, preaching their good news of the kingdom to the point where there was never an end in sight. And so again, for those of you who are listening to my video and you're denying yourself a life and you're denying yourself, an education or a career or whatever, think about, what's happening to you. Think about how the world is changing. Think about how, there is a strong possibility that like these other people that lived and died, never seeing the end of the world, you too face the same situation. And I always tell people, prepare yourself for the future. But anyway, in the February 2017 Watchtower, the Jehovah's Witness organization, their governing body members claim that they are neither inspired or infallible. It really makes you wonder. These men have self-appointed themselves as the only true religion. The only way an individual can have God's approval and attain everlasting life, they must become one of Jehovah's Witnesses. If you do not accept God and Christ through this religion, you will be destroyed eternally. There's no hope for you. So according to this February 2017 Watchtower article, and these governing body members or that claim to be directing the food at the proper time and the only way to get to God, they're now saying that they are not inspired or infallible. But just a critical thinking question. Anyone can go out there and claim to be something. Anyone can go get the Bible, read some scriptures, bring some people together, create some rules, and say because these things are happening through this group of people that this is the truth. They can actually make people think that, hey, we are the truth. But as I had mentioned earlier in this video, you need to do your research. I remember when I was at the Kingdom Hall, and the brothers were always talking about, you got to get your Bible studies to Bethel. That was one of the biggest things, that they wanted you to do. They would always say, get them to Bethel. And when you go to Bethel, you are very impressed by all those buildings, because they do have some of the most beautiful buildings, Of course, they don't sold them all off now, and they're further moved up into their little compound in Walk Hill area. But I'm just simply saying that throughout history, people have always been impressed with wealth. You know what I mean? So when individuals took their Bible studies to Bethel, and even when Jehovah's Witnesses go to Bethel and visit, it's a sight to be seen. It's very impressive. And, it makes people put their guard down because you're looking at them and you're thinking, God must be with these people because look at the growth. But I'm just trying to give you an example of how people are easily lured into things. They're easily lured into relationships, easily lured into, false belief systems because they see that the person standing before them has all of this wealth or so-called wealth. And so they feel that they're being blessed by God because of it. So you have to do critical thinking. Just because the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society has all of those buildings and they have all of this wealth does not mean that they are the one true religion. But money talks. And you can get a lot accomplished if you have money. So back in the day when Charles Taze Russell came about, he had money. And he had money to spread the news about his corporation, if you will, to other parts of the earth. So I go back to my original question. If the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society is not inspired, where do they get their authority to set up this organization and to claim that we are Jehovah's Witnesses, and then say the only people that will get life are individuals that come through this organization? Just a little critical thinking thought there. Like I said, do your research, because a lot of times we don't really look at things the way we need to. Leave your comments below. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts. This has been Lady C. Thank you for tuning in.
This program was sponsored by Critical Thinkers.